Welcome to our channel. Today we delve into the dark and mysterious world of forest spirits. These are the creatures and entities that protect nature with a terrifying vengeance. Tonight we explore the myths and legends of three such spirits, guardians of the woods, protectors of the wild. But be warned, their protection comes at a terrifying price. Deep within the forest, where sunlight struggles to penetrate the dense canopy, there dwells a spirit spoken of only in whispers. They call him the Guardian of Shadows, a being so perfectly camouflaged within the darkness that to lay eyes upon him is to invite terror into your heart. He is the protector of the woods, the silent watcher, the embodiment of the forest's untamed wrath. They say he is as tall as the ancient oaks, his body formed from the twisted branches and gnarled roots, his eyes two burning embers in the impenetrable blackness. He moves like smoke, drifting through the undergrowth, leaving a chill in his wake that bites to the bone. Those who have encountered the Guardian of Shadows speak of a cold dread that grips them, a feeling of being watched by something ancient and powerful. Their words paint a picture of a creature that is neither good nor evil, but something in between, a force of nature that exists solely to protect its domain. Some whispers speak of a time when a group of hunters, their hearts filled with greed, dared to venture into the heart of the forest. They sought to claim the forest's bounty for themselves, to fell its trees and hunt its creatures without a thought for the delicate balance they were disrupting. The Guardian of Shadows, sensing the disturbance in his domain, stirred from his slumber. The forest itself seemed to react to his anger. The wind howling through the trees, the shadows deepening, the very air growing heavy with a palpable sense of dread. The hunters, oblivious to the danger they were in, pressed on, their laughter echoing through the silent woods. They would soon learn the price of their arrogance, the consequences of disrespecting the ancient guardian of the forest. One by one, the hunters disappeared. Their cries for help were swallowed by the rustling leaves, their pleas for mercy drowned out by the howling wind. The forest, once so full of life, now echoed with an eerie silence, broken only by the rustling of leaves and the cracking of twigs. Those who dared to venture into the forest in search of the missing hunters found nothing but their discarded belongings, scattered amongst the trees, as if dropped in haste. The legend of the Guardian of Shadows serves as a warning to those who would dare to disrespect the forest and its inhabitants. The forest has a voice. It speaks in the rustling of leaves, the creaking of branches, the murmur of water over rocks. But sometimes its voice takes on a more sinister tone. This is the voice of the whispering wind, a spirit that embodies the very air of the forest, a being of pure energy and malice. It is said that the whispering wind is neither seen nor touched. It exists solely as a presence, a disembodied voice that carries on the wind, weaving its way through the trees, seeking out those foolish enough to ignore its warnings. The whispers are subtle at first, a faint rustling in your ear, a barely audible murmur that blends with the natural sounds of the forest. But as you venture deeper, the whispers grow louder, more insistent. They twist your name, taunt you with your fears, plant seeds of doubt and paranoia in your mind. Some believe the whispering wind to be the forest's way of communicating, a way of warning off intruders, of protecting its secrets from prying eyes. Others believe it to be a malevolent entity, delighting in the fear it inflicts, driving its victims mad with its insidious whispers. There are stories passed down through generations of those who live on the edge of the woods, of travelers who strayed from the path, lured deeper into the forest by the whispering wind's seductive promises. They tell of people driven to madness, their sanity shattered by the relentless whispers, their bodies found weeks, months later, their eyes wide with terror, their faces contorted in silent screams. One such tale tells of a young woman, Ilara, who wandered into the forest in search of rare herbs for her ailing mother. The forest, usually a place of peace and solace for her, felt different that day. The air hung heavy, the silence oppressive, broken only by the rustle of leaves beneath her feet. As Ilara ventured deeper, she became aware of a faint whispering sound, like someone speaking her name from a distance. She stopped, listening intently, but the sound faded away. Convinced it was just the wind playing tricks on her, she continued on her way. But the whispers returned, louder this time, more insistent. They seemed to be coming from all around her, weaving through the trees, circling her like a predator stalking its prey. Ilara's heart pounded in her chest, her breath catching in her throat. The whispers began to take on a more distinct form. They taunted her with her deepest fears, reminding her of her mother's illness, whispering doubts about her ability to find the cure. Ilara tried to ignore the voices, to focus on her task, but they were relentless, their insidious whispers burrowing into her mind. Days turned into nights, and still Ilara wandered the forest, lost and disoriented, her mind on the verge of collapse. The whispers had become a constant companion, their voices a cacophony in her ears, driving her deeper and deeper into madness. The whispering wind serves as a chilling reminder that the forest is not a place to be trifled with. In the heart of the oldest part of the forest, where the trees have stood for centuries, their roots intertwined in a tangled embrace, there lives an entity of immense power and wisdom. This is the ancient tree spirit, a being as old as the forest itself, its life force intertwined with the very fabric of the woods. The ancient tree spirit is not easily found. It resides within the oldest tree in the forest, a gargantuan oak with a trunk so wide it would take 20 men to encircle it. Its bark is gnarled and twisted, bearing the scars of countless storms and the passage of time. It is said that the ancient tree spirit can control the very life force of the forest. It can command the trees to bend to its will, the plants to grow wild, the animals to do its bidding. Its power is subtle, often unseen, but those who know where to look can feel its presence in the gentle sway of the leaves, the rustling of the wind through the branches. The ancient tree spirit is a protector, a guardian of the delicate balance of nature. But its protection comes at a price. It is a jealous guardian, quick to anger when its domain is threatened. And when it is angered, the forest itself rises up in its defense. Legends tell of travelers who stumbled upon the ancient trees seeking shelter from a storm or respite from the dangers of the woods. They speak of a feeling of peace that washes over them in the presence of the ancient tree, a sense of being watched over, protected. But they also speak of the dangers of disrespecting the ancient tree spirit. Those who dared to harm the tree, to break its branches or carve their names into its bark, were met with swift and terrible retribution. One such tale speaks of a group of lumberjacks who, blinded by greed, decided to fell the ancient oak. They believed its wood would fetch a king's ransom, enough to make them rich beyond their wildest dreams. They ignored the pleas of the villagers, who warned them of the spirit that resided within the tree, dismissing their concerns as superstitious nonsense. The lumberjacks set upon the ancient oak with their axes, the sound of their blows echoing through the normally peaceful forest. As the first chips of wood flew, a groan seemed to emanate from the very depths of the tree, a sound of pain and anger that sent shivers down the spines of even the most hardened lumberjack. The forest itself seemed to react to the tree's pain. The wind picked up, howling through the trees, the sky darkened, and the air grew heavy with a palpable sense of dread. Still, the lumberjacks pressed on, their greed outweighing their fear. As the final blow fell, splitting the ancient oak's trunk in two, a deafening crack echoed through the forest. The ground trembled, trees swayed violently, and a howling wind ripped through the woods, tearing the leaves from the branches and sending the lumberjacks scattering for cover. When the storm subsided, the lumberjacks were gone. The only evidence of their presence was their scattered tools, lying amongst the splintered remains of the ancient oak. The legend of the lumberjack serves as a stark warning to those who would dare to underestimate the power of the ancient tree spirit. The forest is a place of mystery and wonder, a realm where the veil between our world and the spirit world is thin. The tales of the guardian of shadows, the whispering wind, and the ancient tree spirit serve as chilling reminders that we are not alone in these woods. There are forces at work beyond our understanding, entities that protect the delicate balance of nature with a vengeance. So the next time you venture into the forest, remember the stories we've shared tonight. The spirits of the forest are always watching,